So I just got done walking into my first business. I don't know if you can see it behind me here, but it's a Subway. And I actually went in there to grab an early lunch, and it was awesome because it presented me with the perfect opportunity to talk about something that you're going to hear all the time when you walk into a business. I ran into a couple things that you're going to run into a lot when you're out in the field. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So first of all, there's this misconception among independent salespeople selling merchant services where they feel like the only places they can sell are mom and pop shops, and that is just absolutely not true. What you have to understand is that many businesses that are large companies like Subway, they are franchise owned. And so sometimes they'll have corporate owned and franchise owned. For instance, like Arby's, some Arby's are franchised, some of them are corporate. And so you never really know until you ask. So when I was in there, I saw the lady I was talking to. Her name was Tammy, and so I introduced myself to her. I was getting my lunch, and I said, I just told her, I said, hey, I've got a local company here in the area, and I said, we'd love to put in a bid for your credit card processing. Do you know, is it franchise owned or corporate owned? And she said, oh, it's a franchise store. And I said, okay. I said, who would I talk to about putting a bid in for the credit card processing? And she right away was nice enough to. She went in the back. Well, actually, no, let me back up for a second. So she told me it was franchise owned, but she wasn't the owner, and then she proceeded to ring up my order, thinking that the conversation was going to be over. So that was my one little obstacle. She wasn't mean or anything about it, but she just kind of was going to move on. And there's always that kind of pressure to be like, oh, okay, so you're not the owner, But before I left the counter, I asked her, I said, okay, I said, hey, so how would I get in touch with the owner to, put a bid in for the credit card processing? So notice that language that I'm using there. That's the language that you want to use when you're talking to a, multi-location, corporate-owned type business. You want to say, who would I speak to about putting in a bid for the credit card processing services? That's the lingo that they understand. Vendors do bids. So, you can ask that. And, what you have to keep in mind is, as a franchises, they kind of get to choose their own credit card processor in many cases. Sometimes they'll have a recommended partner, but you can usually get your foot in the door. So, at that point, she was nice enough to go in the back. She walked right around back, and I was like, oh, great, she left. But she came back around a few minutes later, and she gave me this paper here, which has the name of the Subway that's their main corporate office. So she gave me the name of the owner. She gave me a phone number for the owner, which is cool. And she also told me where the owner is at right now. That's the other question I always ask. I say, where, she told me who it was. The girl's name is Emily, who's the owner, is Emily. And I said, where's Emily right now? And she said, well, she's at the corporate office at our other location. She gave me the location address. So what do we do with that information? Okay, well, the first thing we do is we enter it in Podio. So you can look back to the training that we have on day one to see, how to enter it in Podio. But I went ahead and entered it in Podio, of course. I don't have an email address yet, but I'll get one eventually. And so she put that in. I put that in Podio. Now, what do we do next, though? Right? Well, most salespeople say, "Oh, I'll just leave it in my database and then I'll get back to it later." That's not what we do. Okay. This is a multi-location deal. Do you realize if I make this one sale, this could be $1,000 a month in income for me? I don't know that because I don't know how many locations she has. I don't know if she has this one and one other one or if they've got 15 locations. I don't know. But this could be $1,000 a month account for me. So what do? I stop what I'm doing and I drive to where this owner is. Okay, as long as the owner's within a half hour, 45 minutes of me, I stop what I'm doing and drive to where they're at if I've had confirmation that that's probably where they are. So I'm driving there right now, and so I'm going to finish the video here in a minute. After I go to the corporate office, I'll let you know what happened at the corporate office.